give our thoughts way too much attention, way too much weight. It's like we're so used to thinking all the time. We're so used to having this process of words and images and ideas going through our head all the time that we forget that that's not actually reality. It's a reality, it's a version of reality, but it's not the real truth. It's more like a reflection of it. Because if you could really perceive what's now, like what is it? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What are you smelling? What are you seeing? Could you really take all of that and put it into words? These compulsive words that float through our head? No, absolutely not. So why then do we give so much weight to our thinking? Why then do we get so caught up in our own thoughts, have so much trouble not overthinking, right? It can become exhausting. You can be sitting there trying to fall asleep at night and your mind's just going, like it's got something to figure out, like it's some task, it's some compulsive behavior that has to be playing out. But what if that's not true? What if our thoughts are actually just something going through our head, the same way clouds pass through the sky, even though it's totally a blue sky right now? No clouds in sight. Imagine if your mind was like that. Imagine if you could get to a point where you're not thinking and your mind is just clear. Imagine what would actually happen, how your body would start responding. Because our thoughts carry an energy, they carry a frequency. So a really positive thought, a really uplifting, empowering thought is gonna make you feel good, right? It's gonna make you feel joyful, it's gonna make you feel powerful, whereas negative, fearful thoughts are gonna make you feel tense, like, ooh, not a great feeling. So those frequencies that thoughts are contained within, even the best of thoughts, like even if you're thinking really good thoughts, that's still within this bandwidth. It's still within this certain range of frequencies that so long as you're thinking where thoughts exist, you're gonna be tuning yourself to those frequencies. So even if you're thinking like really great thoughts, it's not gonna be the same as this clear blue sky. It's not the same as not thinking at all. When I've made this metaphor before, saying that the mind is like a wine cork, right? Those wooden wine corks, it floats on water, and the more you think, the more you pull it under the water. And when you let go of it, it just floats right up to the surface. So to get into a higher vibrational state, to actually shed the patterning and the conditions that you might be stuck within, you just have to ignore your thoughts, right? If I were to tell you not to think, you'd be thinking about how to not think. And that's the irony of it, because if someone tells you, yeah, don't think, just stop thinking, you're gonna say, okay, I'm not thinking. And that is a thought itself. This is the funny thing about thought form realities. It's that it's so easy for our mind to start doing this thing where it's creating a narrative, where it's creating this, okay, and this is what's going on, and this is what's happening, and this is what I should make for dinner tonight, and this is what happened earlier today, and maybe this is what I should do next. And it's creating this narrative, and it's fooling us. It's taking our energy and putting it into this place where it's acting like it is the driver. The mind is not a driver. The mind is not what's actually steering the ship, right? The mind is a tool for us to use rather than something that is using us. Okay, the mind is not meant to be our master. It is meant to be our servant. And so often we get so caught up in our thinking and our that we forget that it's actually supposed to be serving us, not dragging us along. It's like the little kid in its parents' car, like in the passenger seat with the plastic steering wheel. It really thinks that it's driving. It really thinks it's steering the ship, but it's not. And so many of us can get confused as to think that the mind is actually steering the ship, that the mind is actually taking us on this trip and it's driving right along. But no, that is not true at all. So like I said, if I were to tell you to stop thinking, you just think about not thinking. If I were to tell you, yeah, just stop, you think, oh, okay, I'm not thinking. The real trick is to let go of your thoughts, to find a deeper level of yourself, a deeper level of reality. It's to watch them. The same way clouds pass by in the sky. You're not going to grip onto that cloud and be like, oh, I hope it's shaped like a giraffe next. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about that cloud and what shape it's going to be next. So the same with our thoughts. If you just watch them and allow them to go by and accept within yourself, practice the feeling of like, that's not me. Those are not me. That's just a happening. The same way the clouds are passing by in the sky, my thoughts are simply a happening, and I'm going to let them pass by. If you do that long enough, what you're doing is you're shifting your awareness into your internal state, into the state of the observer. Rather than the actor, the beer, the doer, you're shifting your awareness to that of the observer, which is your true self. The one who is observing what's happening, not the one that is taking part in it. You're watching your thoughts. You're allowing them to pass by without grabbing onto them, without letting them sway your emotions. The deeper you get into that state of observing and letting it go, the more this cork floats higher and higher and higher. Because remember what I said, your thoughts, even the best of thoughts, exist within a bandwidth of frequencies. So even if you're thinking great thoughts all day, you're still within this bandwidth. But when you stop gripping onto your thoughts, when you stop grabbing onto them, you transcend the thoughts. You float higher than even the highest of your high thoughts. And your vibration rises. You become aware of your reality, and your nervous system, your energy system, all of it rises up. It relaxes. It's no longer bound in this specific frequency width. So now you're free. Now you've freed yourself from this thinking reality that we've created. As many of us have gotten trapped in this thinking reality where we're thinking so hard, we're stressing ourselves out, we're lowering our frequency, we're getting ourselves trapped in this cycle, and then we try to think more to get us out of this cycle. It's like such a paradox. It's such a catch-22. It's like, okay, I got myself stuck by thinking, but now I have to think really hard to think about how I should figure out how to get out of this. And that takes more thinking, which is what got me into this. No, just let it go. Just let it be. Let yourself be. Let the thoughts go. Recognize that they are not you. Those thoughts are not you. The feelings that accompany them are not you. You are just the one observing them. And if you let yourself observe them long enough, you'll find your real truth. All right? Enjoy your day.